Hello everyone. Welcome to Coinrule's 16th Strategy of the Week video. Again, this week we're streaming across a variety of platforms simultaneously, so you might be watching this on Twitter, LinkedIn, or a variety of other platforms. Again, remember that the recording of this live stream will be uploaded on YouTube afterwards. So if you're watching the recording on YouTube, be sure to join our Discord community so you know when the next live stream is. I'll include an invite link to this in the description of the video. This will essentially grant you the opportunity to ask any questions you have on the strategy in real time and allows me to answer them. So it's really the best for both of us if you can join live. So if you have any questions throughout the duration of this live stream, just pop them in the chat and I'll get to them. I obviously know that it's not possible for everyone to join live due to work commitments, differences in time zones, and so on. So if that's the case, just watch the recording on YouTube. Also, please remember that there are a range of other Strategy of the Week videos on our YouTube channel. So if the strategy isn't for you, you can check out some of our other strategies on there. Cool. So let's get started. This week's strategy is centered around the RSI and some simple moving averages. These will essentially be used to find appropriate entries for long positions. To exit, the strategy will utilize trailing take profit and stop loss conditions. A bit different to last week, this strategy will not require TradingView signals. This means that the strategy will take advantage of Coinrule's Any Coin scanner, which will essentially scan the market for coins that meet our entry conditions and then subsequently enter trades on them. And the strategy is also available as a template on Coinrule, meaning they'll be extremely easy to set up and start running. We do also have the associated script for the strategy available on TradingView, so if you want to backtest it, you'll be able to do that. I'll show you how to do that later. Okay, so I think first, to get things started, we should probably have a look at the broader macro picture. So here we have the Bitcoin daily chart. You can see that since Bitcoin has lost the kind of 30K range, it's proved quite difficult to reclaim it. And we've tested it twice here, just here and here, and have since struggled to reclaim it. In order for the next leg up to start, we'll first need to reclaim 30K. If you watched our last strategy of the week video as well, you'll remember that I mentioned that MA9 and MA50 were beginning to converge with the potential crossing imminent. If you'll see here that we actually just got that crossing just now. Remember that fast moving average, i.e. a shorter duration one, such as MA9, like this red line here, crossing below a slower moving average, e.g. MA50, like this green line here, it's a bearish signal, which provides support to the idea that the market might see an increase in bearish momentum following this crossing. Another important indicator to take a look at is the MACD, which is down here. You can see here that it's remained relatively neutral in the past week or so, although the MACD line, which is the blue line here, let me just increase the size of this so it's a lot easier to see, has been below its signal line, which is the orange line here. You can see that the spread between them has been quite small in recent days, which is represented by the short bars in the histogram here. However, we can see that the two lines are beginning to diverge. You can see that the gap between them is increasing, which is represented by these histogram bars starting to get a bit larger. We can see this is another bearish scenario. Essentially, we can see that the last time that this happened, we lost 30K. You can see. Let me just shrink this down a bit, so you can see when the histogram started to get a bit larger here, we lost 30K and fell towards about 27K. So all in all, although technical indicators aren't always accurate in predicting market direction, they're currently pointing towards an increase in bearish momentum across the crypto market. We also have the ongoing US regional banking crisis going on. The crypto market's held up to this pretty well so far, but if we get an announcement of another bank collapse, it will likely cause a large increase in volatility. So it's something to certainly keep an eye on. US CPI data is also released tomorrow. So that's also another important date. Soft CPI, i.e. inflation coming in lower than expected, will be bullish for risk assets such as crypto, while simultaneously putting downward pressure on the dollar and yields. Cool, so let's discuss the indicators that we're using. And most of you will probably be rather familiar with simple moving averages in the RSI, but I'll run through them quickly regardless. So moving averages are essentially these lines here, this red one and this green one. This green one's MA50 and this red one is MA9. These essentially calculate the average of a selected range of prices, usually closing prices, by the number of periods in that range. So, for example, MA9 calculates the average price of the last 9 candles, whereas MA50 calculates the average of the last 50 candles. When a fast period moving average, such as MA9, crosses above a slow moving average, it acts as a bullish signal, which could be a good point to enter a trade. When a fast period moving average crosses below a slow moving average, the opposite is true essentially. So this would be a bearish signal indicating an entry for a short position or an exit point for a long trade. Moving averages are really quite simple, really. Basically, they're used to help smooth out price data by creating a constantly updated average price. Let's also take a look at the RSI quickly. Let's load it quickly here. You can see here. This is the RSI down here. It's basically a momentum indicator used in technical analysis. It measures the speed and magnitude of a coin's recent price changes to evaluate overvalued or undervalued conditions in the price of that coin. The RSI can do more than point to overbought and oversold assets. It can also indicate securities or assets primed for a trend reversal or corrective pullback in price. Essentially, it signals when to buy and sell. Traditionally, an RSI reading of 70 or above indicates an overbought situation, so above here, which could be a good point to enter a short trade or exit a long trade. And an RSI reading of 30 or below indicates an oversold condition. So you can see here where the RSI dipped below 30 and we begin to the trend reversed and the price began to increase. So this here would be an appropriate entry for a long position or an exit for a short position. So the opposite from an overbought scenario. Cool. So let's discuss the entry conditions of our strategy. So to enter positions, the strategy looks for three conditions to essentially be met. The first two rely on the RSI. We're going to require that the RSI is greater than 40. So as long as the RSI is above this line here. And we're also going to require that it's increased by 3. The next entry condition relies on MA9 and MA50. We simply require MA9 to be above MA50. So some nice and simple entry conditions. Nothing too complicated there. So for the exit conditions, these are going to essentially utilize trailing, take profits, and stop losses. These are essentially take profits and stop losses that adapt to the price trend strength. Just as this example displays, you can see it moves with the price. So to exit, the strategy will look for a 1% price increase trailing or a 2% price decrease trailing. I'm going to show you how to adjust these later if you fancy backtesting it with some different values. Great. So now we've discussed the entry and exit conditions. Let's look at backtesting. If you remember earlier, I told you that it's available on our TradingView profile. This is it here. This is the script essentially. You can see there's the entry and exit conditions listed again. This is just this is here for your reference, but it's pretty straightforward. If you scroll down, you'll also see that the code for the strategy is open source. So as I said, I'll show you how to adjust some of the values in it later. So if you want to backtest this in its standard form, you just come down here, click Add to Favorite Indicators, and come to the chart that you wish to test it on. So I'm going to test it on AVA USDT on the 30-minute time frame. So simple. Now it's added to your favorites. You just come to favorites here, and then you can just copy and paste the name. I'm just going to search for it because I have a lot of strategies in here. You probably might not have so many. Click this, and you'll see it's added to the chart. You see we're given some net profit and the number of trades, the percentage profitable, the max drawdown as well, and some other data. So in 501 trades, this made 103% net profit on AVA USDT. This is just on one specific coin. If you remember earlier, I said you could run this strategy across a range of coins in the market by using any coin scanner. But with TradingView, you can effectively backtest one by one and see how it performed on different coins. So this is obviously some nice performance on AVA USDT in the 30-minute time frame. You can see automatically if you just change this, for example, change the time frame, the backtesting data is automatically updated. So you can see that it performed much better on the 30-minute time frame, 103% profit compared to 7.43 on the 5-minute time frame. So this would suggest that it performs better on slightly longer time frames. You can also change this to, for example, Ethereum and just see how it would perform on a range of different coins. So you can see it didn't perform nearly as well. Cool. So if you're happy with this performance, actually, I'll show you how to edit some of the values first. So say, for example, you wanted to test this, backtest the strategy with a different RSI reading. It's very simple. You can, considering that all the course is open source, you can just copy it basically, come to the chart you wish it to run on, come to Pine Editor here on TradingView, delete all this. Oh, sorry, I'm in read-only mode. But essentially, you would just paste it here, and then you can edit some of the values. For example, the buy condition here, you could, like, for example, if you wanted to test how it perform buying when the RSI is over 50, you could just edit this, click add to chart, and then essentially the backtesting data will automatically be increased. Automatically be adjusted. You can also adjust your trailing, take profits and stop losses here. And also the percentage of equity that the strategy trades with. In standard form, this trades with 70%. This essentially simulates that for every trade, it will run on 70% of your holdings. You could adjust this to 100%, 5%, 10%, just essentially anything that suits your strategy. Another important note is that the backtesting data is backtested from the start of 2022. So it simulates how it would perform in a bear market. You could change this to the last 6 months, the last 3 years. It doesn't really matter. Just whatever really suits you. Another important thing to note here is that the backtesting data also includes a 0.1 commission fee, which is aligned to the base fee applied on Binance, which is obviously the largest crypto exchange by volume. So essentially, you're simulating trading fees as well when you see this backtesting data here. Excellent. So if you're happy with this performance, I'm going to show you now how to run the strategy on Coinrule. It's actually very simple. You can just come here. You can just copy and paste the name of the strategy. So this is obviously the Coinrule, where you create a rule on Coinrule. As I said, it's available as a template strategy. I just click, paste it in here, and you see the strategy's here. You're given a description of it, click select, and it's automatically loaded for you. So as I said, you could have this run on any coin, any leverage tokens as well, which is a new offering that we have. Any of your coins, best performing coin in the market. There's really a range of options. Something I often like to do as well is often have it only run on the top kind of coins in the top 10 market cap. So this is definitely an option that a lot of our users will choose. But I'm just going to leave on any coin. So I wanted to run across all coins in the market. Remember that you can adjust in settings the minimum market cap, which you run your rules not to buy. Awesome. So if you're happy with this, we can just see these are entry conditions. Remember, if any coin has the RSI greater than 40 in a time frame of 30 minutes, and that coin has the RSI increased by 3% within 30 minutes, and that coin is MA9 greater than MA50 in a time frame of 30 minutes. Remember, I'm using the 30-minute time frame here because we saw in the backtesting data that it performed well. But if you feel free to change this as well. If you want to test out in different time frames, you find one that works better on a certain coin, this is open to change. So if this is the case, I want to buy $1,000 of USDT with my USDT wallet as a limit order. Then if coin from action 1 has price increased by 1% trailing, or the coin from action 1 has price decreased by 2% trailing, then I want to sell 100% of the amount bought of that coin to my USDT wallet as a limit order. You could also add another condition here. For example, I might want this rule to not buy stable coins or the same coin twice. So I'm going to set this rule to not buy fiat currencies and stable coins. And I don't want to buy the same coin twice until bought. Sorry. So I'm going to delete this one here. So I'm just going to also add this little condition, but this is again fully customizable. I want this to start immediately and execute 100 times in total. I'm going to name this rule Optimised RSI and MA strategy, which is, if you remember, is the name of the strategy, the default name. But you can change this to something that suits you. But I'm just going to leave it the standard form. Then click launch. You see we're given a little preview here, which just runs through the rule. And click launch demo. I'm just running this in the demo exchange, which is our paper trading mode, but you feel free to run it on live as well, of course. So there we go. Your strategy is now live. Thank you very much for listening to this video. I need to check if anyone's got any questions. So if you do, just post them in the chat. I'll just hang around here for a couple of minutes just to check. Yeah, we're really excited to see what you create with this. I think it's a really good strategy. I've been testing out a bit personally, and yeah, it's worked well for me. So hopefully you all see similar performance. Cool. I'll just hang around for another minute or so. Cool. So yeah, if anyone has any questions after this video or the stream, feel free to reach out to support@coinrule.com and we'll get back to you on that in due course. But yeah, thanks a lot for listening to this video. Really appreciate it. Cheers.